everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm so excited. So we will be doing a 3 looks using the Lauralee Los Angeles Nudie 2 eyeshadow palette. Yeah! I used to do 3 looks way more often on my channel. I just kind of like stopped because I kept getting so many eyeshadow palettes that was really hard to do 3 looks, and then I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do, and then it was like to do all of them. It's just a lot. So I have to get choosy. But I really wanted to do one with this palette here. You can tell my hair is just not working today. But I really wanted to do one with this palette here because they just have, there's so many shades to here that are just so unique but so beautiful. And so I really wanted to like show you guys them and really like show you guys how to use this palette or how I like to use this palette. I thought would be fun. So we are going to talk a little bit about the palette, then we'll go into the 3 looks. I think that's everything. If you guys like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and without further ado, let's just get started. Hopefully that's a little bit better. It's these bangs, like they really are just, when I don't want to wear them down, they're really hard to get put back. The palette is $36, which I think is an amazing price, especially if we're talking, you know, comparatively to high-end brands, to drugstore brands. I feel like this is the perfect, like, kind of in the middle, where it's a little bit more splurgy, but not $50, not up there, you know? So here's the palette here. Now the palette is actually currently unavailable on the website. I think they're gonna bring it back. Of course she will. But you can, when it does come back, if you are even slightly interested, I say get it. It is so worth it. So there are a few different like textures, I don't know what to call them, formulas in here. We got our mattes. So we have 4 mattes here, which we're gonna swatch. This is the shade Low Cut. We have the shade Bum, which is the peach, the shade Patootie, which is this brown, and then we have the shade Risque, which I don't know, it's actually if it's a full matte, but we'll swatch it anyway. So we have Risque, we have Patootie, we have Bum, and then we have Low Cut. So right off the bat, what I really like about this palette is that they have the deeper tones. The first Lauralee Los Angeles palette, the Nudie 1, or sorry, it's not the first one, the Nudie 1 has a lot of lighter tones that just don't work too well on deeper skin tones. So I really do like off the bat that they have some deeper mattes. These 2 right here. Is it the deepest of the deepest palettes? No. Do they have a lot of variation? Not too much. You can see these 2 are kind of very similar. And then Bum just is nothing shade. I just ignore that shade, honestly. Let's get real. Let's get really real. All right, and then we have some, then we have, I believe, this is the only, like, sequin shade, I believe it's called. They're satiny kind of shade where it has shimmers in it, but it's really a matte with just some shimmers. And usually they don't transfer really on the eye. They're a little bit in the swatch, but even not as much as there are in the palette. And so I hate those shades, honestly. If we're being honest, I don't like those shades at all. There's no reason for them. And then we have 2 like shimmer shades that seem to just be like, is it 2 or 3? I think it's 3. So we have, the shade Sheer, the shade Lush, which I just swatched, and then the shade Skimpy, which I believe is kind of the same. They're more like metallic-y kind of shimmery shades. I'm gonna go all the way down my hairy arm, sorry. They're more just regular metallics. There's no glitter. There's no anything extra to it. It's just a beautiful shimmer. I love the shades. I think the standout of this palette is definitely shimmers. Such a nice formula. They're very creamy, very pigmented. You can see very blinding and very metallic, which is what I like. And then we have the last 2, which are, I believe, like pressed glitter almost. I don't want to say pressed glitter because that always sounds bad, but they're very like chunkier shimmers, so I don't know what else to call them. So there's the shade Nudie and the shade Cheeky, which are so, oh my gosh, they're literally so stunning. I really like the pressed glitter. I'm not against it in any way, shape, or form. You just have to keep in mind that they're a lot thicker. Wow, I swatched this really, really close. They have chunks of glitter in them, and so if you're someone who doesn't like glitter, you're not gonna like those. You can see the difference though of the 2 shades here. You can see the glitter, how it kind of fell through the rest, and this is still pigmented because that's more of a pressed glitter kind of formula. So here's the palette swatched on a more tan skin tone. I really, really do love the palette off the bat, based off swatch. Off the bat too, I just wanted to mention, I hate the shades Blushing and I hate the shade Bum. I think that the only reason why she kind of put them in there was so that it still was a nude palette, because the rest of the shades don't really make it any more nude. Like, it doesn't, not that it's not nude, but they're not really nude, and so I think she needed some pale shades in there so that she can call it nude. But I just don't like I don't like sequin shades or whatever the freak they're called, and the pale peach is weird because I can't set my eyelids with it because it's a peach, but it doesn't blend into my crease because I'm tan. So it's kind of a shade that I'm just not a fan of, but we are gonna jump in and put the palette on the eyes. I'm gonna try to use as many shades as possible. We are doing 3 looks, so hopefully that's possible. I just cleaned my brushes and I'm really excited about it. I just cleaned some of my brushes so that I can film this video, then I'm gonna clean the rest after. Again, I can't freaking set my lids. So I'm gonna set my lids and then I'll be right back to jump in. All right, so first things first, I'm probably gonna start off every look going into the shade Patootie here, just because it's the only like kind of more matte transition-y kind of shade. I do honestly think that like, unless you're planning on using like basically 1 to 2 mattes and just one shimmer, this isn't like a standalone palette. I feel like for me, I need maybe another blending crease shade just because I feel like just this one shade is gonna get old. And then I also feel like I just need a setting shade, and I do have other ones that I'm trying to pan, so it actually works out. But I just mean like if this was your only palette in your collection, you would be missing some things, I feel like. And so I don't mind, obviously, because I have so many palettes, and it kind of I just need to use them all, and so I'm glad that I get to like use palettes with this one. So I really do like that. But if you're someone who's planning on, you know, using this palette as one palette, I feel like just keep in mind there might be some shades that you're gonna need maybe to get in a single or something like that might help the palette become a more full palette basically. So that shade again blended really nicely. I have had experience with Laura Lee's formula before. I've used every single one of her. I've tried every single one of her palettes, and I do really love her formula. It's a really nice blendable kind of thing. Let's see what I want to do today. I want to go for the obvious answer. Okay, I think we're gonna do something a little bit more bold. I think I'm gonna go in with this shade here, which is the shade Risque. I'm gonna tap off as much as I possibly can because these shades are pigmented. I'm gonna tap this into the outer corner, but also try to hit it in the crease and the front corner. So almost like a halo eye kind of effect, but not as precise, just a little bit messier. Okay, I couldn't not. I really want to go in with the shade Cheeky. I was trying to get creative, but I think we're going to go in with the shade Cheeky first, at least. I'm just going in with my finger. I think these shades kind of work the best with your finger because it really helps pack the shade on and you don't get tons and tons of fallout. I did do my eyes first. I usually do them in the 3 looks just because I always feel like it just always ends up working better when I'm doing the 3 looks, but you don't always have to. I think that when you use your finger, it kind of holds a lot of the fallout so you don't get too much, so you don't really need to do your eyes first if you don't feel like it. I'm just making sure I'm blending out the edges a little bit. Like, look how beautiful. Oh my gosh. Of course, we're doing the same thing to the other eye. All right, and then I'm gonna actually take my pinky finger, my smallest of fingers, and I'm gonna go in with the shade, where is it? Right here. I think this is Nudie. Yeah, the shade Nudie. And I'm gonna put that in the center of my lid, just a little bit. I feel like it might add a little bit to the effect here. Can't really tell that much, but I think it looks pretty. I love these shades so much. Definitely my 2 favorite shades in the entire palette. Some people will hate these shades. These will be their least 2 favorite shades in the palette, but you know, that's okay. To each their own. I think these are the best and most unique kind of shades in my opinion, but I'm gonna go ahead, finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back to finish off today's look, the first look. Okay, so I did most of my makeup. I have to finish some things up, but before I do that, I am gonna go back in with the palette. I think what I wanna do is, I think we're gonna, I don't know, I've been going for a more lighter kind of under eye, so I think we're gonna go in with the shade Patootie again, and just put that on the lower lash line. And then I think we're gonna go in with the shade Nudie. I'm gonna spray my brush just because this is not normally what I would use for the inner corner, but all my other brushes are out of commission. And then I'm just gonna go and put that in the inner corner, or try to keep that in the inner corner. This big freaking brush. Alright, so I went a little bit glam with the lashes. I'm trying I wanted to wear the e.l.f. foaming lashes in the shade Drama Queen. Juicy Jazz loves them, but I just can't get on with them. I think they're a little much for me, and they're like really hard to apply. I love my Ardell Wispies, the regular Wispies, no numbers, not the demi Wispies, just the Ardell regular Wispies. Those are my favorite. Anyway, the palette is so good, and I think that, you know, you'll see in the next few looks, of course, that I think you can get really creative with this palette, but it's also very glam, but also nothing too colorful, anything like that. And so I think if you're someone who, again, is like even remotely interested a little bit, you will really love this palette. I think I really love these two shades. They're probably my favorite. I love this crease shade. I love this shade too as well. I do wish there was a little bit more variety in this palette. I wish these two shades were different, like transitional shades instead of the peaches that they are, but you know, whatever, right? You know, whatever. So yes, I know we've been talking for a really long time, but let's just get on with the next two looks. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to recap the look that I did today very quick. This shimmer, I freaking am obsessed with it. Like, if you look at it, it just looks so beautiful. I think this is one of these palettes that are like beautiful for like weddings, Sweet 16, stuff like that, because they're just such pretty shades that they're just like, they're gorgeous to look at. You can see the one on my lid, it's just as beautiful. My inner corner, just beautiful. I feel like this deep shade is probably this deep shade is probably my favorite. I just love it. The shade Risque. Risk, I think it's Risk, I don't know. Super, super cute. Everything blended beautifully. Everything worked out perfectly. We'll see what we do for the third look because we've got some interesting shades left to use here. So we'll see, but let's just get on with the third look. Okay, so for this third look, I'm going to talk really quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to incorporate the peach or the pink. We'll just try to go ahead and go in with the peach right now, which is the shade Bum. And throw that in the crease. And then what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take the shade Sheer right here, which is this first shimmer. I'm gonna use my itty bitty pinky and try to just put that on the front half of my eye. Then we're gonna take this shade right here, which is the shade Lush, the deeper, more bronzy kind of gold, and put that on the outer corner. Yeah, like that. I'm just gonna go back and blend the peach in the crease to see how I like it. That's pretty. I'm just gonna take the same peach and run it on the lower lash line just to add a little something. It's not super pigmented, but it'll add a little bit of something, I think. And then I'm just gonna take the shade Sheer as well and put that in the inner corner. Alright, so real quick, we're just gonna close out the video. I know it's been a long one. Guys, if you guys aren't sold yet, this last look for me is kind of something that sells me because I thought these were gonna be the failure shades. I honestly saved the worst for last, the least exciting shades in my opinion, but they look beautiful and I actually do love this look. I think this shade up here shocked me a little bit because it looks very pastel in the palette, but on the eyes it's actually a little bit deeper. You can see a little bit of that orange peach in the crease, and it actually shows up on my tan skin. So that was a plus. I'm sorry I didn't use that pink shade. I just think it's a stupid shade in the whole palette. I just don't think it needs to be there unless you're someone who really loves pinks, you know, and is very fair. Then the shade you might really like that shade, but there's also like glitters in there, which I also am not a fan of. So all in all though, I think this palette is so worth every single penny. I think it's beautiful. I think if you're even again slightly interested, go for it. I think the two gold shades on my eyes, absolutely stunning. All the other looks, I knew I loved these three shimmers here that are more like pressed glittery almost, or these two are more pressed glittery. This one's a little bit less chunky, but a little bit more than these two. Those three like kind of were already like, yes, absolutely, I'm obsessed. These two here, I wasn't too sold on, but after this look, I'm kind of shook to the core. I'm obsessed, and I really like the way that kind of fell into each other, that kind of ombre effect. That's really pretty. Patted myself on the back for that one. And then the three mattes, this one, this brown, and this one down here, perfection. I love them. They blend so beautifully. They're pigmented, they're nice, but they're also buildable and blendable, which is what I really, really like. And then I also am surprised by this peach up here, which is the shade Bum. So again, 10 out of 10 if you're eyeing it or waiting for it to restock, which I know currently it's unavailable, which I'm like 98% positive she's going to restock it, because I don't think she would take it away after we've had Nudie, the first Nudie, for years and years, so for dumb long. So I'm pretty sure she'll restock it. If you're waiting for the restock, grab it while you can. If you want to check maybe Mercari or something like that, I'm sure they have them as well. But yeah, so the scripture for today is, peace I leave you with, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. John 14:27. That is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Definitely, I just did I'll link my eyeshadow palette collection down below. Let me know if there's any other palettes that you want to see a 3 looks with. I will try. Maybe we'll do one with the, like, my newest palettes, my Huda Beauty palettes, but also maybe my Complex Culture, because there's kind of 3 looks set for you. So maybe we'll do that. But again, let me know. And yes, I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.